Augustine was born on November 13, 354 at Tagaste, modern Algeria in Africa. In spite of piety of his holy mother, St. Monica, he fell at an early age into the greatest disorders and, even at a later period, became a heretic of the sect of Manichaeans. Unfortunately, his father, Patricius, was an idolater, so the youth met with little or no restraint on his side. In the beginning of 370, he continued his studies at Carthage, and in the following year, his father died after being converted to Christianity. Sometime later, St. Augustine took up his abode at Carthage and opened a school of rhetoric. Later, he went to Rome, then to Milan, where he also began to teach rhetoric. Here, God's grace and prayer of his mother, who had followed him to Italy, as well as the instruction of saintly friends, particularly of St. Ambrose, effected his conversion. He abandoned the sect of Manichaeans after some time, gave himself entirely to God. St. Ambrose administered to him the sacrament of baptism on Easter Eve, 387. On his return to Africa, the saint lost his mother at Ostia in the same year, and in 388 he arrived at Carthage. At Tagaste, he began to live a community life with some of his friends. He was ordained in 390 and moved to Hippo, where he established another community with several of his friends who had followed him. 5 years later, he was consecrated bishop and made coadjutor to Valerius, bishop of Hippo, whom he succeeded in the following year. From this time period until his death, his life was one of ceaseless activity. He governed his church, preached to his people, and wrote voluminous works that have received the admiration of ages. His humility prompted him to write his Confessions in about the year 397, and from this work we have a detailed account of his early years. He exerted zeal against the various errors of his day and showed himself as intrepid a defender of the faith as he had been its ignorant enemy. The Manichaeans, Priscillianists, Origenists, Donatists, and Pelagians all came in for a share of his zeal. Shortly before his death, the Vandals under Genseric invaded Africa, and the saint was witness to the desolation that followed in their tracks. This multifaceted religious genius and devout servant of God died on August 28, 430. Prayer. Lord, renew in your church the spirit of which you inspired in St. Augustine, your bishop. Filled by the Spirit, may we thirst after you as the true source of wisdom. Amen.